Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks. Welcome back to another tutorial from ADSR and SylenthTutorials.com. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel and you want to stay up to date with all of the tutorials that we're putting out, you can do that at youtube.com/ADSRtuts. So that was a quick demo of the two sounds we'll be making in Sylenth today. So I'm going to move kind of quick to get them in. This is the first lead. It's kind of like a harsh, more of a harsh lead that kind of cuts to the mix. And then what I did was I layered two supersaws, kind of supersaw-ish sounds with it and panned them hard left and hard right. So if I mute those, you're going to see a huge difference in the, you're going to hear a huge difference in the sound of that little demo. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to make a new instance of Sylenth real quick. And the first one we're going to be making is that more of the monophonic lead, this one. So let's go to, let's get an initial preset here. Alright, first thing I'm going to do, because it is a monophonic sound, I am going to click and illuminate this mono legato, and I'm going to turn the portamento up to probably about 20, or I'm sorry, about 2. You can keep the polyphony on 3, and we're only going to be using part A, the page A for this sound. So in oscillator A1, pitch it up to +1. Then we're going to select the Q pulse. That kind of has like a vocal chipmunk sound. I'm going to turn this volume down to about 4 because we're going to blend that with oscillator A2. Then turn the phase up to about 113 degrees just to offset the Q pulse waveform that we created. Let's turn the voices up to 4. And then just add a little bit of detune. You can add more than I did, but it's totally up to you. So now in the amp envelope for A, on the attack time, let's push it to about 2.3 maybe. So what that's doing is it's kind of taking out the initial notch in that waveform. And that will ultimately let that sound blend together better with the saw wave that we end up using. I'm sorry, the triangle wave that we end up using in oscillator A2. So now in the decay for the amp envelope A, we're going to drag that up to about 2.7. Let's give it some more release. Alright, now in oscillator A2, we're gonna only activate one voice for this, and we're going to take the triangle waveform. I'm gonna turn the volume down to about halfway, and then I'm going to, with the phase, I'm going to just leave that down, and we're not gonna touch the detune or stereo because we only have one voice, and I'm actually gonna uncheck retrig. All right, and sorry, I was checking the note length there. Okay, so let's go to the filter section, and we're going to leave this on input select for filter A, because that's obviously the only, we're not using part B, and we're going to select the low pass filter, and you're going to turn the cutoff up a good amount of ways for this to about 6,800 so 6,831 is the number that it kind of rounds it off to. And in the resonance, we're just going to add a little. And then for the drive, I'm going to give that about 3 or maybe 2.5. That really boosts the volume. And now I'm going to select this warm drive in the filter to kind of warm up the sound and make it a little bit more gritty. And on the cutoff, I'm going to turn that up past it by default at halfway. I'm going to turn this up to about 769 hertz. I'm going to add a little bit more of the key tracking to that filter to about 2.3. All right, and now that's the basic sound. So let's go to the effects. In the distortion module, I'm going to activate that and use the fold back. It's one of my favorite distortions in Sylenth. I'm going to turn the amount up to about 6, maybe about 7, anywhere in there should do. And then dial back the dry wet. So that will really help it cut through the mix. All right, and now I'm going to activate the EQ on this because I'm going to want it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm going to take this treble frequency down actually, and then boost this to about 9. That really gives it some digital quality, kind of like a Z type feel, which I liked. So then in the delay, I'm going to add delay, and you can add the delay to taste, obviously, or use third party. I'm just going to turn the dry wet up. And for the delay left and delay right time, I'm going to do a quarter note for the delay left. And for the delay right, I am going to actually use a 1/8 eighth note dotted. Push the smear up so it kind of widens it, and same with the spread. All right, and now in the reverb, I'm going to activate that as well, and I'm just going to kind of keep it on pretty much the default settings. I might just turn down the width a little, and maybe the dry wet just a pinch. And I'm also going to activate the compressor, and for this, the ratio, I'm going to slam this thing to about 10.81. So now it kind of actually almost has a saxophone vocal kind of sound going on. So now in this modulation here, we're going to select the cutoff. I think I use cutoff AB, but you could do cutoff A because we only have part A. But so let's take this knob up all the way. And I bumped up the sustain just a little bit on that. And I'm going to also activate the pitch A for this second slot here to give the sound some kind of snap and tack to the beginning part of the velocity of the note. And so to do that, all you do is, it's just a simple trick you can do in Sylenth. Just pull the rotary knob all the way up, and then the decay. Just bump it up a little. If you bump it up too much, I just like that snap and attack. And then in the LFO section, we're going to select pitch A and B, and on the rate, you're going to kind of turn up the rate here to about an eighth note, 1/8. And now in our source, we're going to activate the mod wheel for this, and we're going to do LFO rate in the first box and LFO gain in the second box. And then you're going to drag the LFO rate knob to about 1.55. And then the LFO gain to about 0.64 or 0.70. All right, so that is the kind of more monophonic mix cutting lead that was in the demo. So now I'm going to show you how to make this kind of cool, darker, eerier supersaw sound. So I'm going to make a new track here, And I'm going to pull this center. So all I did again was I layered this with, which wouldn't be a very good lead on its own, but it really works well with this sound. Obviously panned out left and right. So I'm going to copy and paste this down. And I'm going to mute this one and this one. So now we have. So I'm going to make an initial preset and Sylenth here. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn the polyphony up to 16, so you can do full chords with this because it will sound cooler because it's that huge supersaw sound. And in oscillator A1, I'm going to leave the octave in the note where it is, and I'm going to select this Q pulse waveform. I'm going to turn the detune up to just under 5 and add the voice count up to 4. I'm going to turn the sustain down to about 9 instead of having it 10. And the release, I'm going to turn up a good amount of waves for this because I'm kind of layering it with that monophonic lead that doesn't have a big release time. So I'm going to take this up to about 6. All right, in oscillator A2, I'm going to crank the voices up to 4. And I'm going to select just the standard saw waveform for this. And then in the filter, I'm going to keep it on A, and I'm going to select the filter type, obviously for low pass, and pull the cutoff up, and then turn the drive up just a little. And I'm going to, in the mod envelope 1, I'm going to select cutoff AB for this. I'm going to crank the knob up to probably just under 10, just so I get a little bit more drive in the sound, so about maybe 6 or 7. And then I'm going to add a little bit of delay for this. So I want that ringing out. So this won't be the exact sound of the demo just for time constraints, but it's just that idea. So that's how easy it is to make kind of a supersaw sound in Sylenth. And again, that's not a lead that I would probably use as a top line lead, but so if I, let me name this real quick. So here's a new sound 1, and then this is the one we were just making, the supersaw sound. And so I'll start layering this. So here were the original 2, and I will mute these, and then I'll bring this, pan it right, and then I'll make a new instance of that, drag it down, and I'll pan this left, so then we have this left and right. So it's a rather boring, kind of just simple lead, but you layer that with this. And you get a much bigger, fuller sound for your drops or for your mixes or things like that. So that's a technique you can obviously use in any genre. So if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And if you haven't checked out SylenthTutorials.com, head on over there. There's a bunch of cool Sylenth tutorials, presets, everything Sylenth. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.